Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Russ Benton. I'm a regional rep and political coordinator for Smart Local 16 here in Portland, Oregon. In today's presentation, we are going to show you how to increase your market share and the use of project labor agreements as it relates to ventilation verification and HVAC infrastructure upgrades, and how to use federal funds to help with these efforts. We're going to show you a powerful new tool for organizing work and a correct process and methodology for creating partnerships with local governments such as cities and counties and school districts, along with becoming the gatekeepers for federal funding in your area. I'd like to introduce you to Joe Burney. He is our business development consultant here at Smart Local 16. He was the one that drafted legislation in 2021 to make it legal for local governments to enter into project labor agreements here in the state of Oregon. He also showed us the proper way to create partnerships with local governments in our state. Joe, I'll hand it off to you.
Thank you very much, Russ. You notice this slide says how we made it happen. We in the building trades, historically, often, have gone about getting public entities to contract with us a little ass backwards. And what I mean by that is we think magically if we give money to candidates running for city council, for school board, for county commission, that hopefully, magically, they would convince the majority of their board members to embrace labor standards. And then, if that were the case, which rarely is, that they would somehow magically get the different divisions of their bureaucracy to embrace labor standards, legal, capital projects, procurement policies, etc. That has not been all that effective, and it certainly hasn't gotten us to scale where we can penetrate and own this market in Oregon. So we did just the opposite. We have approached this from the top down. We enlisted the aid successfully of the coordinator of school facilities for the entire state. Working with him, we had him direct message all the superintendents and facilities managers of every school district in the state of Oregon. Here's what happened. We went from a state that would not even entertain anything but low-cost bids for public contracting to a state that has embraced and created pathways for building labor standards into public contracting. As a result of that, within less than a year, we went from 0 school districts that would even talk about PLAs to 20 school districts that have signed them. Of those 20 districts that have signed them, SMART's partnership with CSS Community System Solutions has generated grant requests in excess of $250 million. Will those $250 million worth of retrofits occur in the next year? No. But over the next few years, given the hundreds of billions in Biden's federal infrastructure bill and the priority for labor standards therein, and the various programs that are about to get rolled out over the next few years, will all of these eventually get done? Yes. Will they have PLAs attached to them? Yes. Will smart signatory contractors get the work? Yes. And above and beyond that, we've got 57 districts in Oregon, over a third in the state, that have now committed to do the same damn thing over the next few years. That's how you penetrate and secure new markets for union work.
This is an example of the internal communication that came from the Executive Director of Facilities at the Oregon Department of Education to every superintendent and facility manager across the state of Oregon at every school district. It explained the Smart Facilities grant writing program that we had put in place, the underserved, disadvantaged communities that the infrastructure money is targeting. They don't have the expertise or the resources to access the federal funds. Our Smart Facilities grant writing program offered those services through Community System Solutions. The letter spells out exactly what's expected of them, what the responsibilities are, what we were going to pay for in the grant writing program for them to access these federal funds for HVAC infrastructure upgrades in their area. We had set aside a fund to pay for not only the grant writing services, but also the building assessments for each one of the facilities. When you're applying for federal funding, you have to show a need. So that's where the building assessments would come in. And as the requests came in, the Oregon Department of Education actually created a landing page, and we're going to show you that on the next slide. So, because the partnership with the Department of Education was so powerful, they created this landing page and allowed our logo to be on there. This is the first time in our state's history that a third party's logo was allowed on a state-owned website. After that internal communication that you had just seen on the previous slide was sent out, and there was a landing page for them to go to request help, they could literally go right to the landing page. It would get them in contact with Community System Solutions. They would put in a request for help, and Community System Solutions would take it from there. This was such a powerful tool. Within the first few days, we had 22 school districts requesting help. Within the next couple of weeks, we had 11 more, and it literally snowballed from there. We currently have 20 signed, as Joe had mentioned earlier, and this covers 80 individual schools. So we have 20 districts. Each one of those districts has elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, etc. There's 80 different schools wrapped up in that 20. We have more than 59 districts that are ready to go, that are stable. This is a powerful tool for organizing work like I've never seen before. And keep in mind, this has all happened in less than a year. And as you had heard, we have a huge number of school districts in the state of Oregon that are willing to engage with us and want to sign project labor agreements to access this federal funding.
When we realized in Oregon the demand from school districts, and by the way, that's now occurring with county-owned facilities, city-owned facilities, etc. We also realized we had to put engineering ahead of sales. And so I was able to reach out to someone I had worked with in the past who was crackerjack. Best I ever met in being able to draw down federal and state and local and utility incentives to help get projects to pencil. When we worked together, we only worked on union projects that were bound by PLAs. So I had the opportunity to work with Mr. Mike Barr, president of CSS. We developed the largest commercial PACE program in the United States and financed it. We brokered and structured financing for the largest net zero plus facility, all union, all PLA project in the United States at the time. We were able to develop new finance hybrid products to enable IBW and Smart Work installing solar and battery projects. This was 10 years ago. So with the advent of this opportunity and this unique moment in history with labor standards being prioritized in federal infrastructure and other programs, we realized we needed to ramp up capacity through creating a partnership, and that partnership had to be with the best of the best. I would like to introduce that team now.
Hello, I'm Andrew Crotto with Community Systems Solutions, also known as CSS. We are a nonprofit solutions provider for governments, organizations, businesses, and unions. Our mission is to improve the overall quality of life in the communities where we work. We are committed to socially and environmentally responsible community development. We focus on securing funding for construction projects which employ union members. Our team has decades of experience in grant writing and project development. With more than 125 funded grants for cities, counties, special districts, nonprofits, and private businesses, we have a proven track record of helping organizations get the funding they need. Thanks to the vision of the leadership of Smart 16, Smart 66, and the Smart Northwest Regional Council, we have created a new organizing program. Local chapters can use the program to develop more market share, more projects, more PLAs, more members, and more work. Instead of following the market, you can now lead the market. We offer a full suite of services: expert grant writing, project development, property owner relationship management, and our software covers every step from project identification to construction closeout. We identify schools, governments, and privately owned buildings with potential projects. We assemble grant and finance solutions. We handle property owner relationship management. We write and submit grant and finance applications. And we handle grant and finance management to meet all funder requirements. With our software platform, we can identify thousands of buildings with potential projects which best meet federal infrastructure grant and loan funding requirements. We use that information to create a customized, searchable map and database of the best potential buildings in any given area. Now, let's take a closer look at the platform in action.
Hello, I'm Cody Anthony with Community System Solutions. I'm going to give you a short demonstration of the Smart CSS software platform. The first element of the platform we will look at are the building inventory tools. With this toolset, we can identify buildings with potential projects that meet the main criteria of the Federal Infrastructure Bill grant programs. We can do this for any building anywhere in the country, but for this demonstration, we'll focus on buildings in Portland, Oregon. The areas in deep blue on the map are disadvantaged communities. The areas in light blue are low-income or tribal communities, which also qualify for federal grant funding. As part of our work in any given area, CSS identifies government-owned buildings, schools, and private buildings that meet a predetermined size criteria, such as over 20,000 square feet. In the map legend, you can see how those buildings are shaped and colored on the map. You can see in this area, all the buildings we have identified are in a disadvantaged community. I'm going to click on a government-owned building to show you the data that we provide. First, we have the ownership information. This is a government-owned building owned by the Portland Development Commission. It is located at 715 Northwest Hoyt Street, and it is 392,000 square feet. We have additional data below that gives us more information about the building for grant and outreach purposes. Next, we can click here to see the disadvantaged community information. There are 8 disadvantaged community categories, any one of which can qualify a property as disadvantaged. This building meets 6 of those categories. The 8 categories are climate change, energy, health, housing, legacy pollution, transportation, water and wastewater, and workforce development. A key for federal grant applications, or for any funding application that is using federal funds, is to address Justice 40 concerns. This data allows us to describe how a project might mitigate these issues. A powerful tool of the map is that any address in your service territory is searchable. For instance, 3905 Southeast 91st Avenue. And here's the info for that building. It's a school. It's owned by Portland School District Number 1. It is 220,000 square feet. And it meets 3 disadvantaged community categories. We also provide you with all of the building owner contact information in an Excel file that you will receive along with the link to your map. All buildings on the map and buildings found with the lookup function are connected to an initial grant submission form. This form provides CSS with basic knowledge about the project so that we can start the process of looking at eligibility requirements and grant funding. The form is easy for a property owner or contractor to fill out. It is their contact information, information about the building ownership, and basic project information, including budget, description, status, start date, and project goals. Once they fill it in, they click Submit, and they get a confirmation that it has been submitted. When it arrives at CSS, we review it and get right back to them to discuss the project. The next element of the software platform we'll look at is the grant search tool. Our platform brings together all grant opportunities, whether they are federal, state, local governments, or foundations. The tool allows us to search them by keyword or phrase. Let's use the phrase building improvements. This is a list of all grants currently open that have building improvements as part of the projects they may fund. Clicking on one of these grants provides us all the materials for that application. We have a similar tool for private financing, which identifies bank, credit union, and green bank financing options. All of this allows us to present a property owner the best capital stack for them to get their project completed at the lowest cost to them. This ensures more property owners will undertake projects. Now let's look at our grant application tool. Once we have decided on a grant to apply for, the application materials are loaded into our software. We have the ability for our team to manage all elements of a grant while dramatically streamlining the process. We also have tools for managing grant and construction financing to meet all funder requirements. All of these tools are utilized for all of our partners.
Hello, I'm Mike Barr, CEO of Community System Solutions. The Smart CSS software platform is a very powerful tool that no other organization currently has. It was created thanks to the vision and financing of the Smart Northwest Regional Council. At their core, building projects are finance projects. So the platform also includes multiple project financing tools. In most cases, a grant will only cover a portion of the project costs. So we can also identify and apply for federal incentives and tax credits, utility programs, leases, loans, and energy service agreements. Our goal is to find the best capital stack options to make the property owner say yes to doing the project. This program has been designed to assist a local with organizing work in their jurisdiction. CSS offers two ways to get started with the program. The first is our complete and comprehensive service package. Our team contacts school districts, governments, and private property owners to identify and collect information on at least 100 buildings with projects. We then focus on the best projects that will lead to work for the Smart Local. We secure community benefit agreements and write grant applications for those projects. Pricing for the full service option is $10,000 per grant with a minimum of 20 grants on a 1-year contract. In this service package, if we submit a grant which is not funded, we continue seeking project financing even if our contract with the local has ended. We want to make sure that a project is financed and the local gets the work. We also have an offering for smart locals that just want to utilize our property tools without CSS providing property owner outreach and grant writing services. There is a $10,000 one-time cost for this service. And of course, grant writing services could be added at a later date. Both options come with a customized searchable map of buildings in your jurisdictions connected to the initial grant application form, a database with contact information, and of course, training. We look forward to working with you.
So this is a helpful chart to help explain to your local politicians or local legislators about how a community benefit agreement or project labor agreement can help benefit a local community, especially an underserved, disadvantaged community that the infrastructure dollars are targeted for. It creates career and education opportunities in the form of apprenticeship programs in those areas. It helps support local businesses because it creates disposable income. These are the folks that are going to be going to the movies and buying homes in that area. It also increases tax revenue in that area, which also finances education and infrastructure upgrades. It shows this perpetual cycle that these project labor agreement and community benefit agreement projects how they actually help and create this foundation of economic development for these communities. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today during this presentation. Our contact information is on the screen here. If you have any questions or need any follow-up or want to get involved in this program, please reach out to us. We are happy to assist in any way we can.